everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I am talking about my recent Walt Disney World trip. It was fabulous. I couldn't have asked for a better trip. We went in February of this year, 2021. Finally, I'm filming a recap about it. Sorry it took so long. Just work and life has kind of gotten in the way, and those are kind of a priority. So, oh well. But finally doing the recap. If you haven't seen the vlogs, I'll link them below. They were amazing to just create. I love doing it. I will definitely continue it more in the future. It's just such a special way to like look back on your trip and just kind of remember the time that you've had down in Disney. So let's get started. This trip was a 4-night, 4-day kind of trip. We left on a Friday and then flew back on a Tuesday. It was a very quick trip. We did it in February of this year, 2021, and it was over the weekend of the Half Princess Marathon weekend Run Disney event. Unfortunately, as you can tell by the vlogs, we didn't run the race there actually in person. It was all virtual because of the COVID restrictions, and just obviously the best choice because of how things are currently. But overall, a really great trip. We loved every second of it, and kind of looking back on the footage, I just kind of wanted to kind of fill in the gaps of how our trip went. Will we do things differently? Will we do things again? And just explain any of the missing pieces. So we flew from Indianapolis down to Orlando, MCO. Originally, our flight was supposed to land around like 10:30, but that did not go as planned. I think there was a storm somewhere, so we actually had to route over to the Atlantic Ocean. Like, we were in the Atlantic, and then have to like come back and like kind of divert around the storm basically. Not a big deal, but definitely kind of threw our first day plans in a little bit of a wrench. Not what we were planning to do, but you know, you go by the seat of your pants sometimes. We ended up getting to, I believe, the Boardwalk, which was our resort for this stay. We stayed on the DVC side. I will definitely do a full like recap of our stay actually at the Boardwalk in another video, but it was just great. It was just the DVC side that was open. We got there around noon and actually got our room assigned to us when we got there, so we didn't have to wait till that 4 p.m. DVC check-in time, which was perfect. I don't know if that had anything to do with the pandemic, but what can you do? We got into our room, put our luggage down, and from there we actually took the bus over to Disney Springs and went to eat at Polite Pig for lunch. Now, by the time we actually got to Disney Springs and ate, it was at least like 2:30. It definitely took us a while to get to where we wanted to be, but the food was fabulous. I did not film this day. I just was kind of like disheveled from the whole travel day basically, but we had amazing food. We did like 3 sides for $15 and then each got a drink. Then did a little shopping, picked up a few things while at Disney Springs, enjoyed the afternoon, and then we actually got in line for the virtual queue for Gideon's Bakehouse. So I have seen this on Disney Food Blog, like tons of places have advertised the Gideon's Bakehouse cookies. Let me tell you, a little disappointing. Don't wait a million hours for them, is my personal opinion. Y'all may feel differently. It's just how I feel. We were very underwhelmed. There are other snacks that I would rather eat at Disney. Maybe that's just because I'm not a cookie person, but the fact that they're literally the best cookie in the US, I figured I had to try them. So we did. We tried the original chocolate chip, the Oreo, and the toffee chocolate chip. I believe those 3. Out of the 3, definitely recommend the toffee chocolate chip I think it was like pistachio nut or something. It was very good. Out of the 3, that was our favorite, but very shareable. We probably ate off like 1 cookie for 3 days at least. And then for dinner that night, we headed over to paddlefish, had a fantastic meal there. We wanted to try it out and get some seafood in because Florida, of course. Definitely recommend paddlefish. It is a little pricey. Our dinner was not cheap, even for ordering just like appetizers and a side salad and like I think 2 beers or something. It was around $75. So, and I believe that did include tip. Just know it is on the pricier end, I feel, but love that. And then pretty much we went to bed and that was the end of our first day. So then day 2, we headed over to Hollywood Studios, which is perfect when you're staying at the when you're staying at Boardwalk, because you're right next to Epcot. So, and that kind of resort area, perfect for that. You could either take the Skyliner, you have access to the boat, you also can just walk. Would definitely recommend walking if you can. Boat took definitely a hot second because Boardwalk is actually the first stop on the boat to Hollywood Studios. You're gonna be waiting a hot second for that boat. So if you can walk, I definitely recommend walking. Now, this day was jam-packed. We tried to get the boarding pass at 7 a.m. for Rise of the Resistance. Did not get it. It struggled a little bit. I was really kind of flustered because I kind of had to like move people around and basically just like delete it, or it wouldn't let me do the whole process because only 2 of us had tickets on our account, if that makes sense. I believe the park opened around 9-ish, maybe 10, but somewhere around there. Went over to Hollywood Studios and basically headed straight to Galaxy's Edge and went on not Rise of the Resistance, we went on Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, and that was awesome. If you could tell from the video, we basically headed straight there and we were the only ones in our entire like flight crew, like spaceship. And it was amazing. We were so excited to be by ourselves basically. It just made the whole experience that much cooler. They kind of told us originally like you're probably gonna be engineers, you're probably gonna be paired with another family, and we weren't. We were just by ourselves. So that was awesome. Loved that experience. My mom wanted to be the pilot. I hate being a pilot, so I said let's be gunners. I haven't been a gunner yet. And she was like trying to undo her seatbelt when we were like locked in. I was like, no, we're here, we're stuck. But honestly, it worked out much better. We really enjoyed the ride and we weren't having to like focus on like flying and trying to do that with no gunners or engineers in the back. So it was really great. Loved Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Then we kind of went around to the shops at that too, hung out for a little bit. I believe we then headed over to Toy Story Land once we were done in Galaxy's Edge. We rode Toy Story Midway Mania and Slinky Dog Dash. Had a fantastic time over there, and the waits were very long. I believe we waited an hour for Smuggler's Run and about 75 minutes for Slinky Dog Dash, and those were both pretty legit. Slinky Dog Dash moves slow, people, so just be prepared for that. If fast passes come back, I would much rather wait in Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run ride rather than Slinky Dog Dash, just a heads up. And then as we were heading over to Toy Story Land and waiting in line for Slinky Dog Dash, we did actually place our mobile order for our lunch. We were kind of going to be over by the Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror around lunchtime, so we decided to eat at Rosie's All-American. We just split like chicken nugget meal basically with fries between the 2 of us. That's another recommendation. If you can, place your mobile order early. Seating was horrible though. I think when we like said we were there, it took us like 30 minutes to get our food from the time we like started the order process, like saying we were there and ready to eat. So just be aware of that. It does take a hot second, and there's very limited seating. So we kind of sat on a curb and ate. Not a big deal. We didn't have anything that like had to be cut up, but just be aware of that. Then after lunch, we rode Rock and Roller Coaster, then made our way back over to Galaxy's Edge, and we had a reservation for Oga's Cantina. fantastic. Absolutely loved it. It was very limited capacity, but we enjoyed ourselves. We actually had a seat at the bar. They brought in seats, which was amazing from the last time that I went, because you just had to stand there. So great experience. We tried 3 different drinks. Once we were done with that, we decided to try to ride Rock and Roller Coaster one more time. I was watching the clock saying, oh my gosh, it's like we're gonna be on the ride when that 1 p.m. deadline hits and we have to join the virtual queue. Well, we literally pull in to the like station where you exit the cars, the vehicle, and I'm literally like on my phone scrambling to try to get this, and we did, and it was so hilarious because a ton of people in our like roller coaster vehicle, they all got it. We were like screaming and super happy and excited that we got the virtual queue for Rise of the Resistance. Ended up riding it. I'm somewhat of a Star Wars fan, but I really did enjoy the ride. I don't think I'd go out of my way to like do it every time. Personal preference. I know a lot of people absolutely love it. I personally enjoy Smuggler's Run and like Slinky Dog Dash. I think those are just more my speed. So totally personal opinion, but I will say a lot easier to get that second group boarding pass. At least I thought so. And then we basically ended the night by taking the Skyliner over to Epcot. If we would have gone back to the Boardwalk, we would have walked back, but we needed to kind of make our way to the International Gateway by Epcot, which the Skyliner drops you off right there. And then for dinner, we just kind of ate around the World Showcase for the Festival of the Arts. They had a bunch of booths, tons of great food, but it was too dark to film, so I really didn't film. And also it was freezing, so not really too much to share there. And then ended the night and just did it all over again for the next day, which we actually ended up at Magic Kingdom. Fantastic day. We rope dropped Magic Kingdom, got there super early. I believe they opened at 8 that day. Fantastic, fantastic day. First stop was actually Sleepy Hollow Refreshments, and we really wanted to try the Nutella waffle sandwich, which is a waffle with Nutella spread and I believe strawberries and bananas. So yummy, so delicious, very, very filling for breakfast. We split it between the 2 of us, and then we kind of did a bunch of rides like Peter Pan, Haunted Mansion. I believe we did Big Thunder Mountain, Splash, and Space Mountain, and just tons of rides, as well as the Tomorrowland Speedway, so we could check out the Tron Progress, which was amazing. Super excited about that. And then after Tomorrowland Speedway, we actually ended up at Cosmic Rice for lunch. We had, I believe, the chicken sandwich, and it had this pickled coleslaw on it. If you're obviously not into coleslaw, you probably wouldn't like it all that much, but it was super good. We love like dill pickles and things like that, so it was right up our alley. And then decided to actually head out of Magic Kingdom and pop our way over to Epcot. So unfortunately we couldn't take the monorail over at Epcot. That just opened, I believe, like a week ago as I'm filming this, in July of 2021. So we ended up just popping over to the Grand Floridian and taking a bus from there, because that was pretty much our only option of transportation, or like an Uber, but we just figured like we're in no rush, we can just wait for a bus. So, and honestly it was never busy for a bus ever, no matter where we were going from. We rode Soarin', we checked out more of the Festival of the Arts during the daytime. We then headed back to our resort to change and made our way back over to the Contemporary because we had dinner at the Wave that night. And unfortunately the Wave just closed for refurbishment. It is honestly such a great meal. Loved it, could not highly recommend it enough. The decor definitely could use a refresh. It's a little dated, but the real winner, and honestly what I would just get again for like my meal, is the bacon and eggs Tillamook cheddar grits with a poached egg and a piece of pork belly, and I believe in like some sort of glaze. Oh my goodness, it is so delicious. If you don't listen to anything else in this video, just trust me and get the bacon and eggs. It was so good. And then for dessert, they actually were serving the chantilly cake, I believe. It's a 7-layer cake from the Top of the World Lounge over at Bay Lake Tower, which is a DVC resort. And you could actually order that cake because the Top of the World Lounge was closed at the time we went. So we tried that. I'd never been to Top of the World Lounge, so fantastic cake. I loved it. It was right up my alley, not too sweet, and loved that meal. Headed back to the resort, and next we went for day 3 to Animal Kingdom. Originally, we didn't even plan to go to Animal Kingdom. We actually had a park pass for Hollywood Studios on this day. And on the previous day, we decided to check out Animal Kingdom really quick. The weather was gonna be perfect, and I really wanted to have my mom try Flight of Passage. And I'm so glad she did, because it was probably her favorite ride. I mean, you can tell by the video, she absolutely loved it. It was way better than Soarin' in her opinion, and that is like her top tier attraction. So that was amazing. We waited about 40 minutes, I believe, the first time around, and they projected like an 80-minute wait. This was right around park opening. The line moved really quick. No worries there. Then we headed over to Kilimanjaro Safaris, did that, and we actually rode Everest like back to back, and those were only 10-minute waits. So got a lot done in like the first 2 hours. Then went back over to Flight of Passage because it was so good, and rode it one more time. This time I believe we rated probably like another 45 minutes, 50 minutes. I believe the wait actually dropped on the time stamp on the ride, but it definitely felt more like the real legit wait time that they were posting. So overall, fantastic day. Once we were done, we actually headed over to the souvenir shops there right by the Tree of Life, and that's where I found most of our souvenirs for the day. Fantastic place if you need to find souvenirs and everywhere else is sold out. Try Animal Kingdom. It is amazing what you'll find there. So found my sweatshirt, my mom found her Spirit jersey that she wanted, and then we headed actually over to Dino Land and went to Trilo Bites for our lunch and had the buffalo chicken chips. And then we headed over to, I want to say Dinosaur. It was actually closed for the day, so we ended up going back to our resort for some pool time. It was like 80 degrees that day, really good weather, perfect for swimming. I mean, in February, like what else can you ask for? So did a little swimming for like about an hour or two, and then ended up back at Magic Kingdom for a little bit. But it started raining, as you can tell by the video, so we didn't film too much there. It was a little rough at Magic Kingdom, so we ended up riding like pirates and then booting it out of there, and went over to Epcot and did, I believe, Soarin' again and the land and like a bunch of the World Showcase again, and had a really nice end of the day. We even checked out Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, that new area. It looks amazing. I can't wait for that to open. And then ended the night with some champagne from France and called it the end of the trip. So that was pretty much everything. Had a fantastic trip. Really overall service was fantastic. Couldn't have asked for better cast members. I know they're working so hard right now. Really could not have asked for anything more. Awesome trip. And I hope you guys enjoyed the vlogs. Thanks so much for watching, and I will check you in the next video. There will be tons of Hawaii stuff coming up, so thanks so much. See you later.